A radical U.S.-born Muslim cleric linked to al-Qaida is reportedly killed in a drone strike in northern Yemen. On the telephone is the Republican frontrunner in the race for the U.S. Senate seat in Michigan held by Democrat Debbie Stabenow, former Representative Pete Hoekstra. He represented Michigan's 2nd District for 8 years and was ranking member of the House Intelligence Committee. He's on the board of the new Washington-based intelligence site Lignet.com. Thanks for joining us, Congressman.
Hey, it's good to be with you today. Thank you.
How significant is the death of Anwar al-Awlaki? What role was he playing in promoting radical Islamist terrorism?
I think this was another huge success again for our intelligence community, for our military, if they're the ones that pulled off this successful attack against what apparently was his convoy. Anwar al-Awlaki represented a new breed of al-Qaida. American-born, well-versed in our culture, clearly could articulate to Americans. His assignment on the Arabian Peninsula, coming out of Yemen, was to try to inspire. He actually put out a magazine called Inspire Magazine online. But his assignment was to try to motivate and develop homegrown terrorists in the United States, so that there was a new avenue for al-Qaida to get into the United States and attack us. I mean, the attackers at Fort Hood, Times Square, the bomber coming into Detroit on the flight on Christmas Day. All of these guys, in one way or another, apparently were linked to al-Awlaki. So he represented a new front for al-Qaida. Taking him out is a huge setback.
What can you say about CIA efforts that led to al-Awlaki's death? Do you see this as a victory for the Obama policy of expanding the use of drones against terrorists?
Well, I think it's, I do think that this is a real victory for the intelligence community. And remember, the expanding, what appears to be the expanded use of drones beyond, what is being reported as the Pak-Afghan region into perhaps the Arabian Peninsula, and who knows where else they may be using these techniques. But I think it points out that embracing the strategy initially developed under the Bush administration and now being perhaps expanded under the Obama administration is a very effective part of our anti-terrorism strategy. And it relies on excellent intelligence, the ability to identify whether it's through satellite imagery, drone imagery, electronic intercepts, or human intelligence, but it requires, excellent intelligence so that we can identify where these people are going to be, and we can make sure that when we locate where they're going to be, that we have the right package, military package in place to deal with them, whether it's sending in a SEAL team into Pakistan, or in this case, it appears that when al-Awlaki's convoy was moving, they met up with perhaps an American drone. That requires great intelligence. It requires great leadership and decision-making. My hats are off to the intelligence community, the military, and in this case to the Obama administration for providing the leadership and the latitude and the leverage for our intelligence community to go out and do these things and to keep America safe.
Do you expect there to be any retaliation from al-Qaida because of this latest takeout?
Oh, I'm sure that this is very, very frustrating to al-Qaida. We take out bin Laden, now we take al-Awlaki out. There's reports of other, drone missile strikes taking out other al-Qaida fighters and Taliban fighters. I think that they're getting increasingly frustrated. Every time we have a successful hit, we've got to be very conscious that al-Qaida would love to retaliate. But what we've seen over the last, few years, as we've been successful, it appears that we have crippled their ability to retaliate in a timely fashion. Doesn't mean that we let down our guard, but it does mean that, I think we have severely hampered their capability to hit the United States. We're being very successful. The threat is still very real, but the steps that we're taking are being effective in crippling their ability to carry out their mission. They now have to wake up in the morning again. Okay, they're going to have to do after we took down bin Laden, they had to do an assessment. How did these guys find bin Laden? You know, right now, you've got to bet that there's a lot of folks in al-Qaida who are scrambling, wondering if they're next, and wondering, you know, man, how are these guys? How are they finding these folks? How are they finding al-Awlaki? You know, it was early in, I think January 1 of 2010 that I was in Yemen talking about al-Awlaki. I was one of the first folks that, you know, paid a lot of attention to him in Congress and even in the intelligence community, recognizing that he represented a new and different kind of threat. You know, so now we're, you know, a year and a half, 2 years later, we found him, and it appears that, you know, that we've been able to kill him. And you can bet that out. And Yemen is right now not the most hospitable place for gathering intelligence with all the other things going on in Yemen, but still we were able to cut through all of that clutter and get the intelligence that we needed to be able to be successful in finding him.
Michigan U.S. Senate candidate and former Congressman Pete Hoekstra, thanks so much, sir.
Hey, great to be with you. Thank you.
Thanks for watching Newsmax TV.